Hello everyone, my name is the Rad Man, and we are here for another episode of Sky Factory. So right now I am right in the middle of working on a pretty big renovation actually. That renovation is, I told you in the last episode that I made some solar panel 4s from Solar Flux. They're up on top of this mob farm, and I've been replacing this hardened flux duct with this redstone energy flux duct. Why aren't you full? That's weird. It was transferring and now it doesn't seem to be transferring into this other duct. Well, that's weird. But yeah, I've been just working on making it slowly but surely. And that kind of makes me wonder if it's worth upgrading to resonant flux duct, which can do 32,000 compared to 8,000, or I kind of want to get this cryo-stabilized flux duct because it's an infinite RF per tick, which would be really, really useful, especially with those solar panels that I have. The only problem is that it takes gelid cryotheum, which is the coldest thing in this modded pack, and that takes blizz powder, and that takes blizz rods, which you can make with blizz essence, but it takes blizz rods to make them. And the problem is that I don't have any way of getting blizzes, because I believe they're supposed to spawn in the overworld with other mobs, and I've never gotten a blizz to spawn. So for now we're gonna put that on a back burner, because the only problem with it is, by the way, is that you actually go from the redstone to make these. So if I make a bunch of resonant flux ducts and then upgrade to these infinite flux ducts, I'm not really gonna have a use for the ender ones anymore. And I usually like to make all of my system the same thing, except, obviously these don't need that much energy per tick, because this was supplying them with enough, but now it's broken for some reason, which is great, I guess. So yeah, I'm debating working on making it the ender stuff just because of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go research it and find out if there's another way to get the blizz rods. And if not, I have a server that I can opt myself on, and I'll give myself 4 of them to make blizz seeds. But that's as a last resort. Anyway, so I'll be right back. I'm going to go research that. Hey guys, I'm back. So I actually just barely looked that up, and I found out that there is an actual use for the air essence, and that is to get snowballs, which, as it turns out, are... I just need... Let's see. Okay, it probably doesn't have enough X here. Wait, what? That's weird. Okay. You use air essence to make snow, and air and water, I should say. And then you can use snow, and if you put that on destabilized redstone, then that is what makes the... What was I making? Blizz powder. Blizz powder. Ooh. I wonder if there's a way to make blizz powder back into a blizz rod. And then... Let's see, that makes cryotheum, which it doesn't look like there's a way. So it looks like we will actually need quite a bit of air, just because all of the... Okay, turn that on. Just because all of the higher level stuff uses cryotheum. That's the best coolant for big reactors. Let's see, duct. Yep, there we go. So yeah, now I'm going to start working on an automatic farm to make these. So I think what I'm going to do then is move these 4 machines that have been here, and I'm going to give them their own little area, probably over here, and then we might have one of these little machines be dedicated to the production of cryotheum. just because if we want to make a lot of these, we need quite a lot of cryotheum. Yeah, that'll be useful because, like, if we just look, I'm pretty sure that the top level of energy cell, let's see, what's the top level? Yeah, it sends 32,000 to 32,000, and there might even be a faster one. But basically, if we have the infinite one, we can basically have our storage area, and it'll store a ton of power, and then we just have like a group of 4 or 5 of those high level resonant energy cells, and then we can power the base off that, kind of like we're doing down here. I did finally get this line run all the way from the top down here. The only problem now is there's so much energy coming through that it's actually completely filled up any cell I attach it to almost instantly. And that's just because I need to upgrade these to this level of cell, just so they can keep up with the transfer rate. And then it's like, oh, there's a lot of cable to upgrade after that, like all this cable. There's still some of this leadstone flux duct under here. I really just need to rip out the last of the leadstone duct. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty big project. And I figured that it is worth it, setting up an automatic thing to produce these ducts, just because of how many of them I use. And I did say we might use one of these 2 mini crafting networks, but then I remembered that we'll need the planter to make redstone, so I will probably just run a branch over here of this main network. And one thing I wanted to try doing on camera, just so you guys know, is I'm wondering if there's a way to have 2 controllers on a network, and I'm wondering if that's how you get like the insanely massive networks that have like thousands of machines on them. Like, I've seen videos and pictures of crazy big networks, but that might have been before AE2 added channels. Like, I think Applied Energistics 1 didn't have channels or something. Okay, so this ME controller is red, and there's no channels. So, okay, it made both of them red. So if I remove it, will the other one turn a good color? Okay, so I guess there is no way to have 2 controllers. I might look that up though, just in case, because I am quickly actually pretty well running out of channels, and I'm afraid that if this main thick, dense cable that I have that runs all the way to that controller, if it gets filled up on the side, on this side that I'm pumping everything into, then I'll start having to do stuff like I had to do here, where I take advantage of like micro blocks just to get a cable through. And I'm pretty sure this is actually a full channel by the time it gets, yeah, it's got all 8 lit up. So I need to somehow figure out how to make more of those. But the good thing is I do have like auto crafting recipes for the dense cable, so it's not a problem to make it anymore, because it used to take me like 5 minutes to make one dense cable, just because of the amount of steps that it takes, because you have to make covered cable, then dense cable, and covered cable takes wool, and I never keep wool in my ME system. But yeah, that's pretty well the plan. Is we're going to try and get cryotheum going, but obviously I'll need to wait for the air seed to grow, which it finally has. Like, it's probably been ready a while. I mean, it is a low level seed, and that's weird because it only gave me 3 seeds. This Maddock always gives me 4, so that's weird. And yeah, the reason this is growing redstone there's the 4th one. Give me that. The reason this is growing redstone, by the way, is just because I told it to craft the maximum amount it could, which was like 700 redstone. So every single redstone seed is tied up in producing basically that much redstone essence right now. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so What I'm going to do is I'm going to see how easy it will be to automate this, because what I'm hoping is that I can make like a chest and then give a group of items to the chest, and then have a little sorting system that will automatically figure out what needs done with each item. Let's see. Okay, that's enough space. I just needed to clear up some space for the new air seeds. I'll go down a tiny bit. That's annoying how you can get... No. Okay, come on. Good enough. Anyway, yeah, so I'll do that. It won't take me very long. I just noticed a dark spot, but I don't have any torches on me, so that's great. So yeah, so I'm going to set up the cryotheum production, and I'll probably just stick it over here, because if I use dense cable, I should be able to squeeze a few more channels out of this. And yeah, I'll probably use like one of these mini networks to test it, just because they have all the channels available. But anyway, I'll be right back. Hey, I'm back. So I did actually end up using one of our mini networks here just to test stuff out. So what I have here is a fully automatic process for the production of cryo-stabilized flux ducts. So here's the list of everything that it uses. I just took advantage of how these processing patterns work. For instance, let's see, since it takes 500 to fill the cables, these cables, I just have it put a bucket into this emptying fluid transposer of the liquid cryotheum, and that way I can have just buckets of liquid cryotheum rather than having it all always being stored in the fluid transposer, because I've stress tested this a tiny bit on this mini system, and I haven't had any problems with it not being able to like craft in the right order or anything. One thing I am going to need to do, but I'm not going to do tonight, is I do need to upgrade this alloy smelter, and I probably need to add 2 or 3 of them, just because I have 2 or 3 crafting recipes that takes the quartz that this makes, the fused quartz, and it's really slow. But yeah, so this machine can now automatically produce liquid cryotheum, which is exciting. And one important thing to note is you do need niter from thermal foundation and nether quartz, which in my main network over here I already have crafting recipes for both of them, and I even have seed crafting recipes. Like there's the niter, which is made from saltpeter, and the nether quartz should be somewhere here. I might not have made that seed yet, actually. I guess I just thought I did. That's weird. I don't know, I thought I made it. But either way, I will have it added into the system. Oh, there they are. I just didn't add the recipe yet. But yeah, so that's pretty well the progress. So I'm hoping that all I need to do now is take out all these patterns, and then... Actually, if I just leave them in here and switch networks, I think I only need to move the patterns that go in the molecular assembler, so I just need to take out these, because I think if I disconnect this cable, then it'll keep them in here, so I can just connect them to my other network. That's the wrong cable. There we go. So now we should see, once it updates, we should see, there we go, 4 of 8. And if we look in here, hopefully it isn't really confused. Okay, yep, it's just got the one molecular assembler, which doesn't have any patterns in it because it's an extra. Okay, I think everything else is still online. Let's see, there it is. Good, so that means we just need to put this, wrong machine. these ones back in here. There we go. And one thing I'm going to be doing is some of the ores, like lead, they create pulverized ore. Or if you pulverize them, it doubles it. So I'm going to be connecting the pulverizer to the ME system and playing with that eventually. I'm probably just going to leave this pulverizer where it is and then connect one like over there by this little setup. Just because I have available channels over here. And yeah, the reason I want that is because most of the, like, I'm starting to actually run out of ores just because of how much, like, I've been making these solar panel 4s, if I spell them right, and they take so much stuff. But I've got enough of them up there that during the day they fully charge everything, which is good. In fact, I've just kept the big reactor off and haven't needed to run it ever since I installed the solar panels and upgraded all the cables. But what I'm going to be doing now is upgrading to resonant energy cells, and then have a group of them up there to collect all the power. And most of those infinite RF per tick cables only need to be at the top, these cryo-stabilized ones. And then I'll just have it so many of them that it'll basically instantly be able to drain any amount of solar panels I have up there and put it into any amount of energy cells. Just because I like systems like that where you get the most out of them. Because right now, half of these cells only half the cells are getting actually drained. And I've already put down some of my cryo-stabilized flux duct up here, which is really stinking cool. Like, I really like this. One thing I did notice, though, was oddly enough, this doesn't have a maximum tick RF. So, does that just mean that it, like, I don't know, it says infinite RF per tick, but it's also acting like it could hold an infinite amount, which isn't true, or else these would be, you know, totally drained. But it's really weird. Oh, and I did find out about ME controllers, by the way, that there's a few rules to add more ME controllers into your ME system. But if I do end up needing more controllers, I'll definitely have to build my own building just for those. Because if you start getting into tunnels, which I actually should have a few of them, if we start getting into P2P tunnels and other stuff that really benefits from having more than one ME controller per network, we'll definitely want our own building. And the main reason I would use a P2P network at this point is I have like 6 groups of crisscrossing cables that I've had to keep separated just to squeeze enough channels just to run this new extension. But yeah, once we have the power situation completely separated, I think we're going to make the ME system do a lot more. Like, ideally, I'd like to have this controlled by the ME network, because right now these are not auto-regulated, which means I basically turn these on, and then I have to just occasionally check, because they'll fill up this chest, fill up their internal buffer, and then these will process just slower than them, so eventually it'll fill up and start spewing sand everywhere, which is, you know, it's a pretty big problem, because it causes a lot of lag after a while. But yeah, that's just one problem. So I either need to make more of these. I'm going to eventually extend this setup, like expand it, because all we need to do is make sure that anything that comes out of this is that we only sift sand and dust, and that we put it into this little sorting system, because everything else beyond that is already set up. So we could realistically probably even set it up over here on this end, like have a supersized version of it. And that's just because I realized, even though the magical crops aren't nice, when you have to go 200 and 300 seeds to get like a stack of something, like especially like ores, I mean, sheesh, you craft one block with 9 essence. So if you want to get a block, you have to craft 80 of them, So even crafting a block of any type of ore fills up this thing almost twice. So yeah, that's the main reason, is we need to produce more. And then also the self-regulation thing. I'd like to have it auto-regulated. Another thing I need to do is put a pipe over to here sometime when I'm not being lazy. Oh, this is filled up. I was trying to figure out why on earth none of the swords had gone through. Also need to make more auto anvils because of all the armor I get. Which it's nice though now, because I already have this pipe that goes to this smeltery. So once anything is repaired, I can just send it to the smeltery now instead of having to manually take it over there. But we'll need a decent sized space to fit. We're gonna need like probably 16-ish auto anvils, just guessing off the top of my head. And that'll probably be what we do next episode, just because I can't leave this for more than an hour without it plugging up right now, so that's annoying. But yeah, this works. I'm actually pretty happy with it. So I think what I'm gonna do is to just craft cryotheum, like this liquid the gelid cryotheum. Let's say if we were gonna make 40, obviously I need to put in a bucket crafting recipe, which is stupid because I don't need 49 buckets, but oh well. I also need more saltpeter seeds. I didn't really farm that many of them to begin with, though. But yeah, like, just making fluid cryotheum is actually pretty easy if you have the buckets. Because it's where the niter comes into play. So I think what I'm going to do is, between this episode and the next one, I'm going to craft up a bunch of niter and other stuff that this system uses. I need to also transfer all this stuff back to the main system now that I'm done with it over here. So stick a few in here. Give it some snowballs. It might have been thinking that it needed to cryotheum. Let's see how many it can craft now. So yeah, the ideal thing would be if I have niter in my rotation of the really slow farm, because I want to get it to the point where I can grow almost anything without having to wait for it to craft in that teeny tiny plot. Or I just need to double down, grow a bunch of diamond essence. Like, if I do get this auto system working, I'd feel a little better to leave the game AFK. In fact, I think that's a good idea, is if I do get this working, where it deletes everything and processes it correctly, so I can get rid of all this bulk storage, I think what we'll do is we'll go big on, well, one of the only processes that I haven't gone big on yet, which is the production of seeds. Like, I have this teeny tiny little patch that grows them really, really fast, and I have this huge patch that grows them really slow. But what if I want a huge patch that grows them really fast? I don't have that. So I think what I'm going to do then is grow a bunch of diamond essence between this episode and the next episode. And I think we'll set that up. We'll set the auto crafting system, this thing, in the next episode. And then if that doesn't take more than an episode, which it shouldn't, then in the next episode, we'll set up a bigger crafting thing, because, yeah, I'm already running into troubles with this thing. Like, it's so slow if I'm crafting any recipe. Like, even crafting flux ducts is kind of annoying right now, but the good thing is since I broke all those flux ducts to upgrade them, I shouldn't ever need another flux duct crafted by that system again. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to say tentatively this is the end of the episode, because I can't remember how much time, like how many segments I recorded before this. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching. My name is the Rad Man. Goodbye.